Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lauren Walker-Lee and I take you behind the scenes to some cool places and spaces. Today we're going inside the Rosa Rugosa design studio and spending time with Natale, the co-founder and designer. Rosa Rugosa is a line of workwear made right here in Toronto from concept to fit. Ray's business partner is none other than celeb chef Matty Matheson, and together they set off to make a line of actual workwear providing utility, style, and quality for all bodies and genders. They have modernized trade workwear and in the process created a line that people are loving and wearing outside of work. Let's go take a look. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
And it's so good to see you again.
Absolutely. Welcome, welcome, welcome
yes.
to the world of Rosa Rugosa.
The factory of roses, as you call it.
The factory of roses, as we call it.
Why workwear? What was the seed of the idea?
I believe it's kind of a lifelong passion of mine, kind of that classic utilitarian workwear cut that I've always been really interested in. I've always had a passion for that look, that durability, the stitching. It was always something that I was interested in going through school and being a young designer and, you know, always interested in made in North America, that kind of side of it, and the history of all these pieces, right? They don't change. They're timelessly classic. It's nothing too out there, but they're just timeless pieces, really. I really wanted to kind of try to create something that was made in Canada.
Well, you've made a magnificent space when I know that made in Canada and super local is very difficult.
It was, and it's been a long road to get here, but we're really passionate about that whole concept and idea. So we've been kind of stubborn, sticking to our guns a little bit and wanting to stay true to that idea. So it took us a little while to get here, but we're all totally, you know, just ecstatic with what we're been able to create in such a short time. We haven't even been around for a year yet. Yeah.
Okay, so let's journey
through
do it. The factory of roses.
Basically, like I said, like everything is brought into the shop and we're making everything here by hand, everything local, all our fabrics coming from the States, all of our labels and trims are all made in Toronto locally. Even our thread is made in Montreal. Everything down to the tiniest minute detail we've been thinking about and sourcing correctly and trying to have some kind of story behind it. And then that's it. So we're bringing in kind of cut garments.
Yeah.
And then all the production is happening here. Everything from sample making right through to final design pieces. And they're finished here and moved from this unit. We have another unit in the front that's sort of our fulfillment center. So all nice and close.
Really close,
so
in the same building.
That's it. We're making it and sending it out all in the same place. So. And we kind of went, we had to do a pink. We had to do a pink. And that was another thing too. When we were picking our first 5 colors that we wanted to come out with, we wanted them to be a little bit funky. We didn't want to come right out with the black, gray. So we specifically picked this pink and this green about 6 years ago.
Before Bottega Green?
Before all of it. And then slowly but surely we were like, oh man, we can't miss our time to launch this green.
Okay, I have to ask, do you get a kick out of everyone like shopping vintage, looking for vintage Carhartt, Japanese chore jackets, cargo pants?
I do. I really get a kick out of it, and I'm kind of jealous too because I want all those samples. So it's crazy. It's incredible to see that whole world just grow year after year, and with the trends and stuff too, and there being such like a push for vintage, for all that workwear like we were talking about before. Like, it's hilarious that, you know, now I take such pride being in that world with some of these great companies, right? So for me, My ultimate goal is to find a piece of this Rosa Rugosa in a Value Village in 25 years. It's still amazing condition. It's got beat up, but my kid or one of my son's friends is like, look, I found an amazing Rosa Rugosa. I do the same thing for Eddie Bauer, all that old Carhartt. Like, I'm always telling my mom, like, oh, if you're going to a used clothes store, like, look for Pendletons.
Yes! So, I look for Pendleton.
So good.
I look for Pendleton. Matty Matheson is your business partner. When did he board the Rosa train?
Well, like I had said just briefly before, it's been a long road getting to this point. So we were about, I would say about 6 years working through concept and design, and that's when we became friends. It was kind of right in the infancy. We met through another acquaintance of ours, and right off the hop, they quickly realized that they were trying to start this brand, but there's a lot more to coming up with like a brand idea than just having an idea in your head, right? So they needed somebody with some fashion background who knew how to source fabric, how to make patterns, how to do sample work. And so we immediately just started clicking. And his passion and love for the entire world of vintage, it was just like a spark that went off. And the two of us were just like shooting ideas off of each other. It was just like a really great, natural, organic relationship that was just growing, growing, growing. And it's amazing for me to work with somebody like that because, you know, for me being the graduate out of school, this was the thing that I put all my eggs into one basket.
What drew you to fashion and design?
I grew up in a pretty design-oriented house. My father's an architect, my mother's a landscape architect, so there was always a little bit of peppering of kind of design and function and form, and every single one of our childhood trips was a road trip to some city so that my parents could either see some house or my mom could look at street planting somewhere. So, and then, I mean, fashion and this kind of world sort of came out of early high school. I started fiddling around on a sewing machine a little bit. This was like in peak time where everything had to match everything else. So you had to have like your matching baseball hat with your jersey, with your pants, with your sneakers that were all like color coordinated. And I kind of started fiddling around making, you know, random t-shirts for friends, sewing patches on stuff, and just kind of getting into this whole world. Not really too aware of what was involved in the whole process, but I knew it was something that I wanted to pursue, and I had been kind of applying to different schools, and I got into Parsons, and that was literally the kickstart fire underneath my butt to really just hone me in. And I've never ever had an experience like that through school where I was just so focused, so committed to learning the craft, and I just felt like I was there for all the right reasons.
Okay, walk me through the details.
So, I mean, it starts right from, again, like sourcing that perfect fabric. So we come up with an idea. We want to do a chore coat. Now, we wanted to make the craziest, long-lasting chore coat that you could possibly come up with. So we sourced an incredible 15-ounce duck canvas that at the time I thought was amazing, but that's it. We were just kind of going through how much overkill can we do to each of these garments. So crucial with that workwear, double needle top stitch. Number one, everything has to be double needle top stitched everywhere.
That's what I see too.
Side seams, top stitching everywhere. Keyhole button. This is one of the most underrated design details that is really hard to find. To get some of these finishes, you have to use a 100-year-old machine. They're the only ones that can still do it and that have been doing them for 100 years. Custom buttons made in the antique brass. We got zippers made in the States. it's not a lot, right? It's just that attention to straight line, to keeping it clean, and we have always been saying, you know, less is more. So another thing that you'll find with the Rosa stuff is there's no big branding on it anywhere. There's no big tags. We just want to keep it subtle but cool. So, you know, you'll have your Rosa Rugosa buttons on the chore coat, but our top button's always a rose. And on our cuffs as well, we do a little rose as well. And same thing too with our labels too. I wanted to kind of do a specific garment tag for each piece. So yeah, so each one of the garments will have its own kind of particular tag specific to what it is. So you'll see jacket, you'll see shirt, you'll see pant.
So I know it was first made for work, but are you seeing people like style it up in their everyday?
Yeah, and that's been literally one of the most incredible things for me. Like, just to see how people are taking the brand and wearing it how they want to wear it. It's so exciting, and it's so cool to see such a wide range of all sorts of different styles, right? And again, like, it was originally sort of intended to be a menswear line, but it's completely come out of that whole realm, and it's very unisex, and especially now with a lot of women looking for that kind of workwear cut, it couldn't be any better of time to have a really cool Canadian workwear line. And it's just so cool to see people wearing it.
Behind what is seen as a bit of like a rough and tumble exterior of the garments, you actually have a very beautiful ethos. Can you share what that is?
So Rosa Rugosa is actually a Latin term for rose species, which originally has 5 petals. So there was a bit of story behind that. There was 5 kind of original partners, but we picked this rose species in particular because it's not your traditional showy rose like you would get on Valentine's Day. This is kind of really a scrappy, weedy rose almost. It grows across Canada. It's known to grow in really harsh kind of climate. We wanted to kind of play on that balance of, you know, soft little flower, but it's kind of rugged backstory to it. And it lended so nicely to that kind of traditional workwear also, with some of these companies that had a little bit more of a funny name, like Oshkosh Bagosh, for one thing, that, you know, everybody thinks is a kid's brand, but was actually a workwear brand to start off. So we wanted a little bit of that soft, hard to kind of work into that whole ethos. And we landed on Rosa Rugosa, and it just kind of encompassed everything that we were wanting to have the brand represent.
And another thing I read on the website was, I'm paraphrasing, but that you want your customers to feel comfortably like themselves.
Absolutely, and that was one of the most important things when we wanted to launch this brand. You know, also played a lot in to do with Matty being Matty and myself being myself. We needed a size range that covered that size range. And for us, we wanted everyone to be able to get Rosa. If you're the skinniest stick or if you're the biggest big dog out there, you can wear Rosa and you can feel good wearing Rosa. And we want everyone to be the exact same. When you're coming onto the website, it fits the same if you're a 4X or if you're small. And being true to those 4X sizes, where a lot of the time some of these bigger guys have a tough time finding clothes that they feel good in and that they know are gonna fit the same and be a great cut and be a timeless piece. We just want to be the one-stop shop for every size, every person. Everyone is welcome.
Did you expect it to be such a hit with women?
In my head, I thought yes. I didn't know the response would be as great as it has been. And, you know, I'm just, like I was saying before, It's made for everyone, it's for everyone. Yes, the cuts may be a little bit masculine, but it looks so good on women. Anytime I see any women wearing it, reposting pictures to us, it's awesome. It's totally awesome.
So what's coming next with Rosa? Are you making a jumpsuit?
Well, next we have hopefully some sport world coming in, so we'll have some knits. Hopefully we have some jumpsuits. We've been looking at some flannels, some denims, and there has been some talk of maybe some small leather goods as well. So we're gonna keep it slow, and we're not gonna run too fast right off the hop, but again, everything's gonna be so thought out, and unless the fabric is perfect and our designs are perfect, we're just gonna take our time with stuff. We don't necessarily have to be so caught up with seasons, spring, summer, fall, winter. We can kind of work on pieces, and when we're happy with them, being direct to consumer, we can release them at any time of the year. That also kind of makes us a little bit unique in a sense, right? You're always gonna wanna pop back and see what we're working on, see what we're teasing, and I'm just excited to slowly kind of build the brand out to a world that you just have to go to Rosa Rugosa and you can get literally every piece of clothing that you want.
Well, thank you so much for having us in your studio.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely magnificent. You've made a line in Toronto from concept to fit. You should be very proud of yourself. It's beautiful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for spending the time.
Yes.
Coming into my world, and doors always open.